Hello and welcome. That was a very professional way of beginning the show,
Most
wasn't
professional you've ever sounded.
Because we are a professional podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
And
Welcome back to the monthly movie
I
marathon.
thought for a minute there I was like, welcome back to Jurassic Park.
Welcome to the monthly movie marathon. I am Nick Barrow. Oh, what are we going to do?
Where we
Marathon movies monthly.
monthly.
I'm sorry. I forgot our tagline that we invented two episodes
our
ago.
unofficial tagline.
Welcome back to the show for first-time watchers / listeners. Welcome to you as well. We are a fully inclusive podcast. We do not discriminate based on how much you have watched us or haven't watched us, but we would prefer if you watched us a lot.
Just a little bit.
And we thank our returning listeners and our returning followers, but enough of that.
Enough of the people that give us a reason to do this.
Enough of praising those who support us with, shower us with love and compliments and
Praise
feedback.
each other.
I'm going to praise you like I should. Did you ever grow up thinking it was like, I'm going to praise you like a shoe? I did that. I thought that when I was growing up.
No, but...
No, Nick, just you.
No,
You big
but
boy.
funny you said this because on the weekend,
Yes. Actually, before you say that, we should introduce us. I'm Nick LaBarrow.
This is Nick LaBarrow. I'm Peter Gray.
You're Peter Gray. We're film critics.
We're film critics for this podcast called The Monthly Movie Marathon.
Where we marathon movies monthly. You write for the AU Review.
I write for NovaStream.
I do Nick's Flicks Fix on Instagram. You're rated PDG on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Rotten Tomatoes certified.
We interview famous people.
And that isn't just us like sprouting shit. We actually
do.
So if you follow NovaStream Network or Nick's Flicks Fix or Rated PDG or the AU Review, you will see a fuck ton of Cocaine Bear coverage.
Yes.
Because we are
covering a lot of Cocaine Bear.
We had a good time.
That was, I would argue, one of the most fun junkets I've ever been a part of. And the reason is, and this episode will come out so we can actually talk about
Cocaine Bear. Yeah.
You liked the movie a lot more than I did.
I did, yes.
But I also enjoyed every bit like the Cocaine Bear was on screen. I was like, there is a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah.
But in regards to the junket, everyone understood the assignment.
Yeah.
They was like, we're in a movie.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Oh my God.
And Alden Ehrenreich. They are, if you ever have the chance to interview those two dudes.
Make sure it's for a movie called
Cocaine Bear.
Or the sequel, Cocaine Cassowary, which is a little bit now interviews. I lost words there for a second because I'm just so joyous about.
Or it might be the New Zealand edition, Cocaine Shark.
Yes, true. That's a real thing.
Like Meth Honey Badger.
Is that rugby player Nick Cummins just on meth? I feel like that guy's got enough energy as it is.
Yeah.
Irregardless, we had a lot of fun.
We did have a lot of fun.
So yeah, AU Review, NovaStream Network. Go check out our Cocaine Bear interviews. Elizabeth Banks, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Kerry Russell, Alden Ehrenreich, and producer Chris Miller,
who you may know as one half of the Lord Miller, who
directing, producing, writing duo
21 Jump Street,
22 Jump Street,
Into the Spider-Verse,
the Lego Movie,
the Batman Lego Movie,
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs,
Mitchell's versus Machines.
Oh fuck, they did do that.
Yeah,
Chris Miller, a solo adventure, The After Party on Apple TV+.
But also, loveliest guy.
So much fun.
He's
super nice.
Bundle of joy.
He was a bundle of joy. And considering we spoke to him at 3:00 in the morning our time,
yeah,
he was a lot of fun.
And we did that without cocaine because we don't do that.
Well, for work anyway. Anyway, I'm Nick. That's Pete. We do a lot of shit. Thank you for joining us if you're returning. And also, I just want to point out as well to our YouTube watchers, thank you for the consistent support on the YouTube. Thank you for leaving comments and views. And we love that you are watching us. I was going to say it's lovely to see you. I can't see you, but you can see us.
Yep.
You were in Launceston.
Yes, I was in Launceston,
which is in Tasmania.
In Tasmania, beautiful. If you ever get the chance to go to Launceston, you don't need that much time there. was 5 days, and I was like, I've seen everything. But my God, is it a beautiful city.
Yeah, right. It looks good. Your photos looked like a lot of fun.
Cataract Gorge, just nature at its finest.
Yeah, right.
Beautiful place. But the reason that I was going to talk about something, because you did the I'm going to praise you like a shoe, was because
that felt like so long ago.
I listened the other day. TLC came up on my
very nice.
on my
That's a bit of
Spotify
a throwback
mix,
Thursday, yeah.
and Waterfalls came on, and I said, obviously the lyrics are "Don't go chasing waterfalls,"
Yeah.
and similar to your thing, I said as a kid, always thought it was "Don't go Jason Waterfalls."
Don't go, Jason Waterfalls.
Because I thought this kid,
don't you go, Jason.
I really thought that it was about this kid that just like, don't go.
Jason.
Don't go. And then
great.
And then you like listen to the song and you're like, oh, this is about like it's abuse and drug use and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
But did you find out the real words of the song thanks to Michael Keaton in The Other Guys when he quotes TLC throughout the whole, hey guys, don't go chasing waterfalls. Like, now you are just quoting TLC.
I don't want no scrubs. I already knew.
I love that.
But it's when you know that he's quoting TLC, it makes that joke better. Because if you don't know TLC, you're just like, why is everybody else laughing?
Why
at
is
this?
everyone
Because
funny?
you're too fucking young, millennial.
Also, just
Gen
watch The Other
Z.
Guys. It's fucking brilliant.
Just watch The Other
Great
Guys.
comedy.
It's great. But we're not here to talk about the other. Well, you know what? The other guys we are going to talk about. Adonis Creed. Yep.
And Rocky Balboa.
Because in just a few short days, by the time this episode's out,
I know it'll be very close. We'll be a couple of days away from that.
We'll be seeing the release of Creed Un, Dos, Tres.
Which is incredibly exciting for me. I'm a huge fan of the Rocky and Creed universe.
And
I love those. I saw Creed 4 times at the cinemas, I think.
Very nice.
Loved it. Loved it.
And it's very exciting for me as a fan of black men.
Well, there we go. So, yeah. And in specifics, very in shape, ripped, athletic black men.
So the reason that I bring this up...
Okay. Yeah.
Apart from the fact that it's very common for me to thirst over people.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do have an apology.
It has been brought to our attention that on the last episode of the monthly movie marathon, where we marathon movies monthly, we looked at Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Yes.
Which we can both say I really enjoyed it. It seems like a lot of people didn't.
And you know what? I get why people, because it's a bit chaotic. It's a bit all over the place at some points.
It's not the male stripper movie. It's a very sensual love story.
It is so sensual.
It's super sexy.
It's super sexy.
Like, yeah,
not even just the dancing.
No.
Salma Hayek and Channing Tatum. Wow.
Yeah.
That's their opening. Holy shit.
That is.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, but
cold showers after that movie for a lot of people.
But because we spoke about Magic Mike, I think people were expecting me a lot more than you.
Yeah, I can do a Jason Thirst. Homo adjacent Thirst. Yeah.
And Nick appreciates the male form.
I get it.
But I think a lot of people were expecting a lot more of like frothing at the feet of the Tatum.
Dude, and you know what? I think we've set ourselves up for that as well with the after movies, right? Especially the first after episode, which if you haven't listened to, it's our most listened to episode of the show.
Yeah.
My girlfriend Rhiannon and her best friend Georgia, who is our friend, one of our friends too. It always feels like a weird thing to say. It's like Rhiannon and her best friend. It's like we don't hang out with Georgia.
Yeah.
No, Georgia's our friend.
Yeah.
They came on and we talked about all the after movies, and it got loose.
It got loose, yeah.
It got loose, it got moist. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So I think there was a preconceived idea that, holy shit, the boys are covering Magic Mike. This is going to be a thirstathon. And we'll shout out, thank you to movie watching girl Ashley, who called us out on it, to be totally fair.
And you know what?
And I felt guilty.
We did appreciate the male form in the Magic Mike episode. Yes. But we got very deep.
That was, and I enjoyed that chat.
I did
as well.
We spoke about like men's health.
Yeah. toxic masculinity.
I was going to say the toxicity.
The drive to succeed, or, I think, no, when you're in constant pursuit of wanting to succeed.
Men supporting men.
Just
and the
guys
fact that
being dudes.
and the fact that it's okay to do so.
Yes, absolutely.
So
there was a lack of thirst.
So I'm here to say, if you want me to go deep, ain't nothing going to be deeper than Michael B. Jordan, because Peter be thirsty.
Peter does love Michael B. Jordan.
I do.
And although we're not discussing the third film since we haven't seen it, Jonathan Majors. That boy is huge.
That is a
huge.
That is a thick.
That is a thick boy.
That is a thick boy.
That's a thick.
And so,
good, man.
Let me just say, Magazine Dreams.
I can't wait to watch that.
Holy fucking
cannot wait to watch
shit. And having the actual pleasure of speaking to Jonathan Majors a few weeks ago.
You've also spoken to Michael B. Jordan.
I have.
So there we go.
But Jonathan Majors in person.
Right.
And he we fist bumped. I was like, I've touched Jonathan Majors.
Fuck.
And he's a beautiful.
He loved your question.
And he's actually like a beautiful, aesthetically beautiful, but just like as a human, you're just like, this is a good, humble guy.
Oh man.
But
so there's
I'll do my best to always link it back to just like
thirst.
To thirst
and like, sexiness, which is why you all tune in anyway.
Right. Just think of that photo
you horny bastards.
Of like a car, like petrol hole, and then and like,
sorry. the car petrol hole. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And like the two pumps going into it.
Yeah. I'm picturing it. Yeah.
So it's like Jordan, Majors, and then I'm the hole.
And then you're the petrol
I'm
hole.
the petrol hole.
And
if that hasn't made
just gassing you up,
and if that hasn't made up for not talking about it enough, then there you go.
That almost tops docking, avataring.
Oh, 100% it tops it for me.
Oh, I think they top you.
They do indeed.
So Creed 3 is the reason we're here after all that. So firstly, apologies for lack of thirst. We hope that's made up.
And then
for
also
it.
apologies if that was like
too much,
and people are just like,
please give us feedback. Please let us know if we're too thirsty.
Yeah.
So Creed 3 is coming out March 2nd in Australia, March 3rd in the US. Highly anticipated for me.
It is highly anticipated for me, especially after the rewatching.
Yes, yeah.
And the early word is starting to trickle out.
Yeah, slowly having its US screenings and stuff, and it's a lot of praise. There's some that I'm taking with a grain of salt. There's some where I find it's a bit hyperbolic of like, it's better than the first two Creeds. I'm like, I'm not saying it's not going to be, but I'm always a bit like,
we're used to seeing
but when the general consensus is pretty positive.
And it seems like his directing is getting a lot of praise.
What I want to mention.
Yeah.
He has stated in interviews where he was like, I've taken a lot of inspiration for the fight scenes from anime.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool.
That's cool.
Because when you look at something, this is a bit of a left field example to compare it with, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. The action scenes in that are animated in a very specific and stylistic way.
Yeah.
That's super exciting. If he can do a Creed 3 version of that and make it something that's different to what we've seen in the Creed movies before, but still intense, really fun, or not really fun, but really visceral, intense action, sign me the fuck up.
I'll just also quickly say, thank you to everyone in the world for actually making Puss in Boots a massive success.
Puss in Boots is great. Though.
It opened pretty low.
But it's had traction.
And it's available on VOD in the States.
I think it's available on VOD here as well.
And it's still pumping out, and it's crossed 100 million.
Did you see as well, it's made the Letterboxd top 100. Because it's good.
It's a good movie. And as we've alluded to, we want nothing but the best for Joel Crawford.
Yeah, actually, speaking of interviews, just dropping names. We interviewed Joel Crawford. I interviewed Joel Crawford the second time.
Yeah.
Amazing interview. You got Antonio.
I got Antonio.
You got about that is. But fuck. Joel Crawford, nicest. Butt fuck. Don't butt fuck Joel Crawford unless he asks for it. Joel Crawford. Well, hey, come on.
No, you know what? Yeah, fair.
Hey, I listened to the monthly movie marathon the other day, and they said to butt fuck Joel Crawford. That's what they're going to say. That's how we get cancelled.
Nah, we'll be fine.
We've said way worse shit.
If they cancel us, I then just counterbalance it with like that's homophobic.
I'll go, that's honorary
Yeah,
homophobic.
Always got that up my sleeve.
Anyway, Joel Crawford, lovely guy, want the best for him.
Yeah.
If you listen to the show, we love you.
We love you, Joel
We
Crawford.
do love you. We actually love you a lot. But after the fourth fucking tangent,
So
Creed 3
is coming out, and we're going to talk about Creed from 2015 and Creed 2 from 2018.
which are both brilliant movies. So look, when they announced they were doing a Creed spin-off, of course I got excited. I'm a Rocky fan. I've got all the movies actually right there in a very special box set. I think it's in that middle shelfie there. This is great for the people who are listening, can't see.
Oh, right there, I can see it. It's true, he's got them.
It has been verified. I've loved Rocky my whole life. I do think the best movie in the Rocky franchise is Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, okay.
I love Rocky Balboa.
That was actually a really good movie.
It's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
But also Rocky Balboa doesn't work without all the movies that are coming as a pen.
But also, that's never going to happen again where it flicks out
like
and then
lands on
doesn't
that.
land on anything. Oh, okay.
It doesn't work without the other Rocky movies that have come before it.
No.
And I love all of them.
Yeah.
I love that Rocky is actually like a pretty serious character drama.
Yeah.
And then Rocky 2 becomes the boxing movie. Then Rocky 3 is like, hey, let's get Mr. T in here. Then Rocky 4 is like, what if we did a 90% training montage in the middle of Russia movie?
If he dies, he dies.
And then Rocky 5 is like, imagine if they were singing sometimes too, and he joins the a cappella band. But like, I love the Rocky franchise through and through. So Creed gets announced. Michael B. Jordan's in it, so he's come off like Fruitvale Station, and Ryan Coogler's directing, who's also come off Fruitvale Station.
is this pre or post Fantastic Four?
Same year, I think
year?
post. I think it was post.
So it's like, it's a
Fantastic
good
Four
thing that he had this
to fall back on.
because
Well, not even fall back on, to lift him
we all
back
know
up.
how Fantastic Four turned
Four
out.
stick
So
turned out.
thankfully, Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan were able to
to
ride
get a
that
bit
one
more out of it.
Yeah.
But Ryan Coogler was a big part of why I was excited for this, because I loved Fruitvale Station.
Right.
Which is if you haven't seen Fruitvale Station, have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Powerful movie.
And also, if
Heartbreakingly good.
Ryan Coogler's name sounds familiar, it's because
yes.
he directed Black Panther and Wakanda Forever.
And Wakanda Forever as well. So he also wrote the script for this, which is very exciting. So yeah, Creed, the first Creed movie, 2015.
It only took us 18 minutes to finally start talking about Creed.
Hey, this is what the people want.
They do.
Nick and Pete rambling. Creed, the former world heavyweight champion Rocky Balboa, serves as a trainer and mentor to Adonis Johnson, the son of his late friend and former rival Apollo Creed. Great. That's like the premise I love as well.
And that's
all you need to know.
all you need to
That's
know.
all you need to know,
Yeah.
because the whole movie is that. And it's
Yeah.
about them trying to form a relationship that is coach and trainer, but also somewhat father and son.
Yeah.
An understanding of, why Rocky and Apollo were such, they were, like, it says they were rivals, but
It's like one of those, like for lack of a
They
better
get
word,
the
like,
punching out of the way and then-
I guess volatile friendship in some ways.
yeah, but then it turns into a real friendship.
Turns into a
throughout
real
the-
friendship,
throughout
yeah.
the franchise. So, Rotten Tomatoes critics score 95%,
Yeah.
audience score 89%, deservedly so. And Sylvester Stallone nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in this film, deservedly so, because even on this 10,000th rewatch, he still makes me tear up with his speeches. Oh my God.
I remember thinking that he was gonna win
In
for the Oscar. I thought he was.
Oh
gonna win
right, yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't remember who was going up against that year.
He lost to. I have a feeling he lost to Mark Rylance for Bridges Spies.
You know what? I don't hate that. So yeah, lost to Mark Rylance, Christian Bale for The Big Short, Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight, Tom Hardy for The Revenant.
That's a good
That's
fucking
a
year.
big year.
But I just remember thinking that because I'm pretty sure he won. He won like the BAFTA. He won something like leading up to it, which is one of those ones that it's like, well, if they win
there's
this,
there's a chance.
which
that
we're
he
all
could.
seeing now with.
Austin Butler, which I know you have contentions about.
I do have contentions about that, but we're not going to talk about that.
We should do an Oscars episode, actually. Just thinking out loud.
But yeah, I remember thinking he was like kind of like he was one of like the favorites.
Yeah.
Like it seemed to be him and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, because Spotlight was big that year.
And obviously Spotlight ended up winning Best
Picture.
Film. But and I said to Nick, I don't know if it was on the last episode or it was just in one of the many conversations that Nick and I have outside of all this.
Daily, hourly.
Because this isn't just like us like faking it. We actually like each other.
We're actually friends. Who would have thought?
But I remember when I
put it on really well for camera. If we were faking it.
Yeah. I remember being, it's not that I didn't like Creed.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a victim of hype for me. Okay. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, this was good.
Yeah. Okay.
But I wasn't like, this is the second coming of
I know what you mean. Like it's
Jesus, I don't know.
Of Rocky, of Balboa, of Creed.
And I hadn't seen this film since the cinemas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
So rewatching it, I was like, I'm actually super psyched because it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
And I think having that distance,
it's given you a bit of time.
Like watching it, and I was like, this is fucking incredible.
Oh yes, good. Because I love everything this movie's about because it has all the ingredients of a good Rocky movie.
Yeah.
The fights are incredible. Like Ryan Coogler does some of these one-take fights. And obviously, yes, there's some of them are stitched together and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's these long takes where the punches seem real, and this isn't necessarily a criticism but like I am someone who watches a lot of boxing and a lot of UFC, like as a sport. I'm a big fan of the sport in general. And you can tell when something is really choreographed. So I'm watching Creed, I'm like, okay, this is really, there's nothing really spontaneous about, but it still looks great. The punches look like they connect. And obviously there is the one punch, which, we'll jump around a little bit, but when Donnie, as he likes to be called, Adonis Johnson, then takes the name Creed for last fight, gets knocked out in his film.
Boy, I will knock you the fuck out.
I'm assuming you know this as well. It's a rite of passage in the Rocky films to get knocked out on screen. So it's happened to Sly, happened to who played Apollo Creed? God damn it! I hate myself.
Fuck me.
I fucking Carl Weathers. Michael B. Jordan, Dolph Lundgren have all been physically knocked out on camera.
Yeah.
And have you seen the behind the scenes video of Michael B. Jordan getting knocked out? It's great. It's awesome. So like they're rolling, and it's the shot you see in the film is the knockout punch. Cameras are rolling, and like they've obviously synchronized it. So like Michael B. Jordan's moving his head into the, and they're just going like that. They're going like that, and they're like 3, bang, just knocks him out, and he falls to the ground. And for me, that's awesome. Like I watch, I'm like, that's so insane.
Yeah.
And it looks great on camera. So it's like one of those things where Coogler's fight direction is incredible, but his drama work, both in the script and how he captures it, not just a son trying to, figure out like who he is and like find his identity in the world.
Yeah.
Not just someone he's also trying to prove he's got a chip on his shoulder and he's trying to prove his worth, like physically.
Yeah.
A very solid fucking romance.
Yeah.
With Bianca played by Tessa Thompson, which is, there's some of those scenes together. I'm like, that is some great fucking romance.
Yeah.
And then also, trying to form some form of relationship with Rocky. And then when Rocky gets cancer, being like, now I have to be what, he was to me 10 minutes ago, I have to be to him now.
And then
so
also,
it deals with a lot of shit.
And also, I guess it goes into him trying to figure out who he is, but his relationship with his mother.
Oh God,
not his
mother, but
his late father's like actual
wife,
because, as because we realized that
you find out early on.
Apollo Creed had a few extramarital affairs.
He was a billionaire boxer, baby. It's just
and the fact and she, when he's younger, like she takes him in because he's in like correctional facilities.
He's getting fights in juvie and shit. Yeah.
And she takes him in and obviously gives him the kind of love and affection that he needs because they obviously grows up to be he grows up to be quite an upstanding.
Yeah, he's obviously working in some sort of office, like high-end office job. You find out he just got promoted and then he quits to pursue boxing.
He just wants to. It's clear that it's like in his
DNA.
It's literally
I
in
guess.
his DNA. And he wants to sort of prove him. And that's why, you know, for so much of the film, he's like, I don't want to be Adonis Creed. I want to be.
He wants to make his own name. I want to be Donnie Johnson.
Which is understandable.
And it makes sense as well because obviously he's such a lost person in his identity as well as to why he's so angry for a lot of the movie too. Like and Michael B. Jordan plays it so well. It's never like dramatic movie angry. It's not yelling. Like there is such an internal rage.
He does silence and
intense fucking eyes.
Reflection really well.
And I know it's part of the script, but the questions that Donnie asks of people, it's always like why can't we this? Why can't we that? And I'm like, fuck, he's such a well-written character. And I know that's a lot of Michael B. Jordan's acting. But that's Ryan Coogler, man.
That's Ryan Coogler.
That's why I'm saying watch Fruitvale Station because that movie will break your fucking heart. But it's a really solid drama, and that's where I think Creed works really well. Is that it's not just an exciting boxing film, but it's a great fucking drama with two amazing performances from Michael Jordan and Sylvester Stallone.
Because I know that like Stallone was one of those actors that like copped a lot of shit for the fact that he maybe doesn't have the greatest range as an actor.
He's Rocky and Rambo.
You know, he's Rocky and Rambo. And then, you know, there was his period where he did like Stop or My Mum Will Shoot, which shouldn't have done. He did like that, the Specialist with Sharon Stone, which was just an excuse.
Oh God,
just an excuse for them to get naked.
But then
he
would do shit like Copland.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
So I remember Copland was like one of those movies where they went, oh shit, like Sylvester Stallone's like a really good actor.
Really good actor.
And then since then, I feel, you know, obviously he's like the Expendables, but I was like, that's just him getting together with a bunch of his mates.
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
Oh, but
it has its place.
But
right? Yeah.
You know, and then he directed like the Saturday Night Fever sequel, Staying Alive.
Oh, he did too. Yeah.
Like, that was a choice.
He directed a fair few of the Rocky sequels. Directed the Rambo sequels. Yeah.
And Rambo 4, just Rambo. That's a fucking great movie.
Good action
Rambo
movie,
number 5.
Yeah, not so much. But I don't think he was as
my
involved.
favorite thing was always, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rambo number 5.
It's actually fucking brilliant. But he's copped shit. He's copped shit.
But this movie, you just go, oh, you're a great actor.
So
and
good,
all of the accolades he received, it wasn't just like, is this just like career?
No,
it's not at all.
It's for this
like,
performance.
And like, as you said, like when he reveals his diagnosis and the fact that he's just like, I saw what it did to my wife, to Adrian. So that's where that came from.
Yes,
so you've probably seen lots of like
Adrian. That's the end of Rocky. Yeah. That okay. Let's talk about that scene then, because obviously a lot happens leading up to that. But
that's very far into the film.
But I think it's also like it's the scene that can make or break a movie. Like how many movies or dramas have you watched where it's like someone's like, I've got cancer, and you're like, okay, you're just trying to make the movie sad. But it's like, okay, no, it makes sense, like, you know, to add something here that's going to be a big speed bump for both Adonis and for Rocky. But something that Rocky's like, okay, no, you know what? I stepped away from so much of boxing in my life. Like I'm running the restaurant, which is named Adrian's Restaurant. And he's like, I've done everything I need to do. It takes a lot for him to actually come back and train Adonis, right?
Yeah.
But then he's like, gets the diagnosis. The doctor's like, this is the treatments. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do the treatments. And then he has some flyers. Adonis finds the flyers and he's like, when the fuck, he doesn't say fuck, but when are we going to tell me that you have cancer? And he's basically just like, I saw what it did to Adrian. I saw the pain that she went through and then the pain it had on me as well. And the line he says, I don't know if I wrote it down or not, but he wrote down, he was basically, no, I didn't write down the whole speech, but he basically goes, if I could take everything good in my life and put it in a bowl and give it away just for one more day with Adrian, I was like, Rocky. I was like, Sly,
like,
mate. And he's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be with her. But then Adonis sort of comes at him like you knew my dad, you knew Apollo. He died, and now you're all I have. Like you are the male figure I need in my life.
Yeah.
And that kind of gives Rocky okay, I'm going to stick around for you, kid, which is beautiful. Like it's so well done.
Yeah.
Again, this is an apology for anyone who thought we were going to go into big fights and big thirsts, but this movie is really fucking good, man.
And I think that's just like, speaks to the fact that, you know, Ryan Coogler as a filmmaker and a storyteller,
man,
like, and
just
you,
so
I mean, and you see
good.
it with like Black Panther, and even though Black Panther obviously leaned into the action side of things because it's a Marvel movie,
Yes.
and it's good,
Yeah,
but
yeah, totally.
Black Panther and even Wakanda Forever, they're very emotional films.
Super. So and they're very emotional, especially from a male, I guess for lack of a better phrase, a male point of view as
Yeah.
well. It works with a male emotions, or what we would, you know, societally like stereotypically assume as like
Yeah.
testosterone fueled male emotion. But the what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, Nick. What is the word you're looking for?
You should be able to read my fucking mind by now.
Yeah,
We should-
probably. I mean, we are.
the softest, not sentimental, not softer, but like the more being in touch with it, I guess, right?
Being
Is like
in touch with what?
the emotions.
Right.
It's not letting it my emotions. Not being like I'd like Adonis, ultimately in the movie, who has so much internal rage.
Yeah, yeah.
And so much internal rage that he needs to fly to Tijuana to fight dudes in a fucking bar, like a boxing bar fight.
Yeah.
And then fly back to his job on Monday. And I love that scene.
Well, which is, I mean,
One
that's
shot of him
that's
walking
very,
out.
very early in the
That's
film.
pretty much the opening
That's
scene
where you're realizing like it's almost like he has this double life essentially.
Yes,
He's got this
yeah.
very corporate job where he's even though we don't see much of it,
He got promoted.
He got promoted. He seems to be well liked. He's like professional, but then
His boss is sad to see him go.
yeah, but then he's got all this other stuff where he's like, I need to prove my point. And I guess you look at it as, yes, that's a super masculine, ego-driven thing to be like,
Yes.
I've got to prove myself.
I've got a chip on my shoulder and I need
by
violence.
by doing it violently. But also, it's not that.
No.
It's like, it's him trying to find out like
Who am I?
who
Like,
he is.
and like who his father was ultimately as well.
Yeah.
I love the scene after that when he quits his job and he's watching the Rocky Apollo fight and he gets up and starts mirroring his father.
It's so good.
That's awesome. But then he goes to a boxing gym and basically walks in and he's like, I'll fight anyone in here. Like, I'll put my car in line. I'll fight anyone.
Yeah, puts his,
So he's-
was it his
The
Mustang?
Mustang or
Yeah.
Chevrolet. Yeah, Chevrolet. I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a car guy. But
Boss move.
right. And yeah, he goes in and that's when we meet like Danny Wheeler, who is like who in real life is an actual boxer, but
Yeah.
also is like an up and coming champion and stuff like that. So he's ego driven, like you said. Like Adonis is so ego driven. But that's
he's
where
not-
Rocky brings him back down.
But he's also not unlikable.
No, because
he-
you set up why. You set up why he's got this chip on
Because like
his
someone
shoulder.
who's that ego driven,
Normally would have something back
And I'm
that
also
they're trying to-
I'm not naming names, but I've dealt with some fucking egomaniacs in my time.
Oh, we obviously in this industry.
If I could name and shame you, I fucking would.
You know who you are.
You know who
you probably
you
don't
are.
listen.
But
we'll
you
make
don't
you listen.
but you all went to their fucking
Do you know?
festival.
Do you know what's great? The people who we're not even talking about, if they're sitting there going like, "Oh fuck, they mean me," it's like probably check yourself then.
Yeah.
But it's probably not you.
Yeah, if you've like gone, oh, is it me? It's
Pete and I are really nice guys, but if you fuck,
if you fuck me over and
Well, mate,
send me into a massive spiral of depression and debt, I'm gonna be coming for you in some way or another.
God, I hope they see this. Maybe you should fucking fight them.
Oh,
in that.
I mean, I've seen
your videos. You've got a fucking mean hook on you, man.
Like I'm incredibly intimidating.
That's the
But
thing, though.
I know how to throw a fucking punch. Shout out to Brody, who is like taught me my boxing stuff. He's a good dude. Brody Casa. If anybody wants to train, he's a good dude.
Train with Brody.
Train with Brody. Coach Brody.
And this is an appropriate place to do it because this is a boxing movie.
Yes,
So,
I'm not just randomly yelling out a dude's name.
so yeah, and he uses like Adonis got this chip on his shoulder. He's got an ego. He's angry because he doesn't really know who he is. But that's where Rocky comes in to sort of bring him. And part of me, it's never explicitly said, but I feel like Adonis knows that. I'm gonna call him Donnie because he likes to be called Donnie.
Yeah. Donnie.
Donnie knows he needs that.
Yeah.
He's afraid. He's not going to admit it, but that's why he goes to Rocky.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, like it's like
great.
that weird thing of like his ego is not going to allow him to be like, I need you.
Yeah.
But he's just going to be like, yeah, come on, like,
And we get like
it's more like you want to coach me.
Yeah.
Even though it's like I need you to coach
Rocky.
me. Yeah.
And we get like the training montages. He moves in with Rocky in his like humble little home, sleeps in Paulie's old room, which is a great throwback
Yeah.
for us Rockies fans.
Yeah.
So, and it's great. It's great to see his journey of humility. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, perfect summation.
And that's what you come for, right? In the Rocky movie. That's like, you want Rocky to be doing his boxing thing. He's giving his speeches like you're fighting the guy in the mirror. That was awful.
I will say, when Sylvester Stallone first comes on screen and his first line, I just giggle just because it is that like,
we're closed. Who won the fight? He did. Anyway. But the scene where he's like getting into shadow box in the mirror is like, that's the guy you're fighting. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter who's actually in front of you in the ring. Like, that's the guy.
It's like one of those cliche things. But it's also like, your biggest competition is yourself.
And you know what? I eat that shit up.
Yeah, I know what accent that was.
But then not the counter to that, but then simultaneously is this relationship he's having with Bianca.
Tessa Thompson, who's fucking incredible in this movie.
She's so good in this. She's great in everything.
She's great in everything. But this is like, there's just this. There's like this really beautiful like softness to her, but also she's like
strong.
She's like I don't actually need you at all.
No.
Like, I've gotten this far on my own.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Like, yes, I'm interested in you, and you just look at it and go, "There's no way that you're going to turn Michael Jordan down." Let's just say.
I love their introduction scene because he's trying to sleep, because he's like, I got to wake up early because I'm a.
And she's like,
she's playing music and stuff. I love when he comes out, knocks on the door, smacks on the door, opens it, and he sees her, and he's like, well, she's attractive. He's like, I'm Donnie.
Yeah.
I lost my shit. It's such a funny fucking thing.
But also how she's just like, oh, you can't sleep? Okay, I'll turn it down. And then just the music just stays the same thing.
That's why she's like, oh, you got to get up early, you got to train. Yeah. Like, she's just taking the piss out of him. Yeah.
And he knows that there's nothing he can
do about it. An interesting aspect about her character, or I say interesting, but it's like, I like that the movie doesn't make a big deal out of it.
Of her being deaf.
Yeah. Like, she at least wears hearing aids, but is also a musician.
Yeah.
So I find that, I just like that interesting of, obviously, that is like a little addition to her character of someone who has overcome adversity to do what she wants to do.
But they don't. But it doesn't become. But it's also not like, oh, they've done like the death storyline.
But you know what? There's no like crazy scene in the film. Like any other movie that's trying to be like mellow and over dramatic would do this. They would go, there's a scene where Creed's now learned to fight like really good. And then Bianca's getting followed down the street by someone, but her hearing aid's not in. And he's like, Bianca! And she can't hear it. Like, any shit movie would have done that. Yeah. But this movie is just like, this is just a part of her character
of who she is.
And who she is. But she's also a big part of bringing the humility out of Donnie. But the fucking scene where firstly they fuck on Rocky's couch. I was like, bless Rocky's just upstairs, just having a nap, and they're fucking away. But the scene where they're lying on the floor and listen to the music together, it's just it's sensual. It's actually quite sensual as well, but it's so well done in a movie that is so masculine. Yeah. That it's Ryan Coogler's ability to bring the sensitivity to it. Fuck, he's a good fucking
to basically be like, look, I know that all of you dudes watching this movie are going to be like, we want it to just be like heaps of fighting, and the girls are probably going to be like, oh, I'm getting dragged along to see the Creed movie, and then then turn around and just be like, oh, you're giving us like a legitimate love story that even like I imagine even like guys just go, oh, that's actually like really well done.
It makes sense.
Like even if you're the most testosterone-driven, like hetero dude.
This guy, no, not me. Absolutely not me.
Not him at all. There's no way that you can't just like go, oh, that's actually like incredibly sweet and really, really well done, and just
there's just so much substance behind it.
Like the beauty that this sort of dirty industry that they're fighting in needs, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the substance of the film.
Yeah.
The story is, Adonis wants a chance to make a name for himself. And that opportunity comes when there's a heavyweight championship that's going to take place. It is this guy, Danny Wheeler, who he fought in the gym earlier, who beat him for his car, gets punched at the press conference by the current heavyweight champion, his jaw broken, and it's the opportunity then for Adonis to come in and be like, and it's very similar to the first Rocky where he gets the chance to do it.
Yeah.
He gets a chance to prove himself and come in for this fight, which isn't obviously for the championship fight. It's you know, to be like, it's an exhibition match.
Yeah.
You just happen to be in this place at this time.
Yeah.
We need you to come do it. And this other boxer whose name I forgot, but he's played by Tony Bellew, who is a UK heavyweight boxing champion. He's really good in the movie, considering he's on actor.
Well, that's the thing.
He's
like,
really good.
That's the thing. Like, the people that are in this film, like, there's no, like, bad performances.
No.
You know, like, sometimes there's, like, all the actors and then there'll be, like, a sports person and they come in and they're just... And
you're
it's,
like,
and you're like...
You're a sports person.
Yeah. Like, everyone else is just like, hey, how are you? And they're just like, oh, I'm here. And you're like, oh, nah. Like, I can't think of anybody.
I know what you're talking about, though. We've all seen it before.
We've all seen it. It's like when Jerry Halliwell guest starred on Sex and the City.
It's a reference that went over my head.
That completely went over his head. But like, there'll be people out there that'll be like, "Oh yeah, Ginger Spice was on Sex and the City, and she was not good." That's right.
But Tony Bellew is great in this movie. And obviously Creed has a couple of fights. So he has this fight in Tijuana. He has the 2 fights in the gym where he beats one guy, then gets beaten by Danny Wheeler. And then he has the fight against the tattooed guy that puts him on the map, which is that's the one-shot fight that looks really fucking good.
I like that they're all, I mean, I like that there's enough humility in this story to let Michael B. Jordan lose on screen.
Yes. Well, twice.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Which is within the Rocky.
Yeah.
Thing,
but like,
you know,
it's good that, because even though like you sort of think, oh my God, like in this era of,
totally. Well,
of actors.
When there's an actor out there who, I won't say the name, but it rhymes with Schmin Schmeasel, has in his contract that he can't lose fights, or like if you have someone like Schmaine the Schmock Schmonschen, who's like, I can only get punched a certain number of times, but I'm not going to name the actors, in their contracts, you kind of go, what's the fucking point then? Like, I know you're going to win every fight. Yeah. Whereas, the humility of like Michael B. Jordan.
Of Schmeichel Schmorden.
I'm not going to say his name, Schmeichel Schmorden. To have the humility to be like, this serves
like
the greater story. Yeah. Like, it's not like, as Schmin Schmeasel would say, my movies have the mythology of the Schmorder the Schmings. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
now all I want is an actual movie called Schmorder the Schmings.
Schmorder the Schmings, directed by Schmin Schmeasel. Full disclaimer, can't wait for Fast X.
Oh, I'm
so excited.
So excited for Fast X.
But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so the lead up to the fight... So yeah, he has his fights to prove that he's a worthy opponent to Tony Bellew's character. And then I love the press conference. The press conference scene is great because he's, and then he just throws the line he throws out where he's like, you're just a false Creed. And he's like, this is just as he's been like, no, I'm taking up, like, I know who I am. I am my father's son. I'm taking the name Creed. And he's like, no, you're a false Creed. Yeah. And he just that press conference scene is great. Yeah. And I guess we'll wrap up on the fight. The fight. I love walkouts. UFC, boxing. I love the walkouts.
What would be your song?
Okay. I'm throwing a big hypothetical out here because I am throwing around the idea of potentially doing a charity boxing match this year.
Awesome.
Because for those who don't know, I have a background not in fighting, but I've done boxing for fitness, which doesn't make me a boxer. Don't come try and fight me.
Yeah.
But like on a base technical level, I know some stuff. And I've always wanted to do it.
Wow, we could fight each other.
Could you imagine that? I'm pretty good, Pete, actually, now I think about it.
I've got a pretty good reach. I'm
big. So
I could also move quicker.
That's true. That's very true. This would be an interesting fight. I'm
just big. I would just like hurt you with like one swoop.
With just pure male power.
Of like my bare paw just on your fucking little face. On your gay face.
Because you know what wins at the end of the day? Heterosexuality.
Yeah. And then if I lost that, I'd be like, Nick's homophobic.
He gay bashed me.
Yeah. He gay bashed me for charity, so it's even worse. So it's like people paid.
People paid to watch a gay man get bashed up.
Yeah.
God, the world's fucked up.
It really is.
My walkout song would be, so I don't know if you know this about me, Pete, but I'm a bit of a showman. I like making a bit of a piss about things.
Yeah, okay.
I've decided that my walkout song would be Dancing in the Moonlight by Top Loader.
Wow. Because
firstly, I actually love the song. But imagine that. Imagine you hearing that and I'm walking out and then I knock you out. Do you like think about that? It's like, oh, I just got knocked out by the dude who walked out to Dancing in the Moonlight. But if I needed like a massive hype up song, Beast, the Southpaw remix. So the scene in Beast where he is training like, I'm a motherfucking Beast. The soundtrack. The scene in Southpaw. Because you like the Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Yeah, no.
The scene in Beast with the South.
And I was like, wait, when did
Idris Elba training montage?
So the scene in
Southpaw with the song Beast.
Right.
That would be the one.
Fuck, that's a great movie.
It's amazing. What about you? What's your walkout song?
What would be my walkout song? See, I would do the same sort of thing where the walkout song would be like probably so fucking queer that they want to be like, what? And then I just come out and just be like, playing.
I can imagine. It's so good.
So what's a song that I like? You know what? I would be like, I'd just be like, da-na-na. Oh, baby, walk out in like a fucking school outfit to go with the video and then just walk out and just be like, hey.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of Tai Tuivasa or Bam Bam Tuivasa, the UFC fighter. He's an Australian fighter from Mount Druitt. And in his last fight, he walked out to Wannabe by the Spice Girls. Fucking love it. He's the one who's famous for doing the shoeys. He'll do the shoeys after all the fights. Fucking love Bam Bam Tuivasa. But it's a similar thing. It's like, imagine walking out to Wannabe and then getting knocked out by the dude. Yeah. That's where I would go. But the walkouts in this movie, banger. Yeah. Great fucking songs. Yeah. Super intense. Like the light shows and stuff are just so well done. Then we get to the fight. It is just brutal. Yeah. It is Donnie getting beat the fuck up by this dude.
Again, a great thing to see that he's holding his own.
He's just not a superhero.
But he's just like, he's not, he's good. He's a good amateur fighter.
Yes. Yeah.
You put him in the big leagues and you're like, you've got some work to do.
And the reason for that is, especially from a structural movie investment point of view, is that like, it's not about him winning the fight quick. It's about him getting beaten up for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
And staying in the fight.
Yeah.
The fight's brutal. He's getting the shit beat out of him. He gets punched so hard his full eye swells over. And I love the scene where he's like, how many fingers am I holding up? And his cut man's behind, like tapping him with how many. Which that guy, the cut man Stitch, is an actual boxing, like he's the most famous, what they call cut man. So like he's the guy who comes with like the Vaseline
and everything. Yeah.
So you know how they have the ice stuff there? That's to move swelling. Like I always think that's fucked when you have to like move swelling with it. It's what a primal fucking
it's just
sport.
A brutal
God,
sport.
I love it so much. So yeah, Jordan's getting the shit beaten out of him, and then the knockout punch happens, and he falls to the ground, and it's in slow motion, and it's the stiffness.
Yeah.
Because when he's falling, you're like, oh, that's not great, and then he goes stiff, and it's when he bounces up, and you're like, that's just a real fucking knockout.
You've just like lost all functions. Yeah.
Just gone.
Yeah.
And then we see little flashes. He sees Bianca, he sees Rocky, he sees his mum or his surrogate mum, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's out. And then he sees Apollo Creed. He sees his dad. And then like a man possessed, the way he goes like, and just gets up off the ground. And I was like, well, I remember seeing that for the first time in the cinema. And I got goosebumps now, but I remember that first time. And I was like, this is the greatest movie scene of all time. So he gets up, he just belts. He's going in hard, and he's punched. And that's the thing with boxing is that because you do well in one round doesn't mean you won the rounds previous as well.
Right. Yeah. Like he can have a great round, but like you're still technically losing.
Exactly. Yeah. And he does lose the fight. He loses by a decision
as they say.
He won. He may have lost the fight,
but he won the night.
Which is a great line. Yeah. Which is a great fucking line. It's such a well choreographed fight. It's sold so well by Tony Bellew and Michael B. Jordan. So much emotion. Bianca runs in, hugs him. So proud of you, Donnie. And then the final scene of the movie is Rocky. He's still sick, but he's getting better. And Adonis walking up the Philadelphia stairs together to the Rocky statue and then looking over Philly. Great fucking ending to the movie.
Yeah.
God, it's a
good
fucking movie.
It's a good fucking movie.
Then into 2018, so I'm pretty sure really quickly after Creed came out and was a success, they were like, yeah, we're doing a Creed 2.
Well, because it did really fucking well. Like obviously critically, yes, but like commercially,
it made money.
Over like $100 million.
And this is something I'll say actually, because I didn't even talk about my favorite scene in Creed. my favorite scene in Creed is one of the training montages, and it's Fighting Strong, and I can't remember the other song it's teamed up with, but it's a Meek Mill song. And it's the scene where he sprints down the street and the quad bikes are going past him and stuff. That is one of the most amped up things I've ever watched in my life. Like, it's Michael B. Jordan sprinting, and you know he's sprinting because of his facial expressions.
Yeah.
The quad bikes and the motorbikes going past him. The song, like, Meek Mill goes hard on the song. It's just such a great fucking scene. And actually, and I'll say this, and like, I don't want this to come out as like a cultural appropriation way, but I do love how much this movie celebrates black culture. Because I'm the whitest guy in the world.
We're not gonna like go too deep.
No.
But it's like we can appreciate.
I'm genuinely a big fan of rap movie. Raps like as a music genre.
He loves 8 Mile.
I love fucking 8 Mile. I love the culture. I'm and I love seeing it on screen. And there's something about Creed, obviously, a black star, a black writer and director, and so ingrained in the culture that seeing it on screen, I was like, I feel like not part of it. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't know the words to say. If someone will educate me on that, but I love how much this movie is so dedicated to the culture.
Yeah,
and I think there's so many great moments and scenes where it's the scene where they're making music together and he does like the improvised rap. It's like, it's so cute. Like it's such a good romantic scene, but it's, you get a white guy doing that and you're like, okay, there's something wrong here. Like, no, because it's ingrained in the black culture. And Creed does that so well. And it's another part of the reason I love the movie. So 2018, Creed 2 comes out. The fucking hype when this trailer drops. Well, even before the trailer, when they were like, we're bringing back Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That's
because
a huge deal.
Rocky 4 is arguably like the funniest Rocky movie, to be honest, but Rocky has to fight Ivan Drago, who's from Russia, or it's the Soviet Union back then, and the world's on the brink of like a Cold War with the Russians.
Yeah.
And ultimately, Rocky Balboa fights Ivan Drago, beats Ivan Drago, and then does a speech about, he's like, if I can change and you can change, everyone can change. And it's like, then all of the Soviet Union like up on their feet, clapping Rocky, like he's stopped the Cold War basically.
Yeah.
But everyone loves that movie because Ivan Drago, because Dolph Lundgren is such a fucking specimen, such a force. And he has the best line in the whole Rocky series where he's like, the biggest thing is Ivan Drago kills Apollo Creed in the ring, like literally beats him to death.
Yeah.
And then, they're like, why are you worried about, hurting or killing Rocky? And he's like, if he dies, he dies. And it's fucking great. So him coming back for Creed 2 and have it being Ivan Drago's son, Victor. fighting Adonis Creed.
Adonis Creed's son, yeah.
Apollo Creed's son, and Rocky also being involved.
Yeah.
The drama's right there.
Yeah.
It's literally, and that's what this movie's about. It is Adonis battling with the fact that like this fight is revenge for him.
Yeah.
But is that the right path to go down? Like, are we going to undo everything we did in Creed? The humility and the ego that you dropped, that anger to come back for revenge. So. The premise alone was like, holy fuck.
Sold.
So 2018, Creed 2, under the tutelage of Rocky Balboa, newly crowned heavyweight champion Adonis Creed faces off against Victor Drago, the son of Ivan Drago. I love how to the point these synopses are. Critics score 83%, audience score 80%. That's very respectable. That's still pretty high. It is a drop from the first one, and that makes sense because this movie is, while there's still a lot of serious drama, it is the Rocky 2 to Rocky. It goes a little bit more into like the training montages and the more glorified, stylized versions of the fighting. Some of the drama does feel a little bit heightened. It is that sort of classic like, Victor and Ivan are trying to fight for the honor of getting, welcomed back in. Because at the start of the movie, they're in Ukraine. So they've obviously been sort of abandoned. They've been banished by Russia or by, because they're
because it's the way
Ivan's wife is a higher up in the
Bridget Nielsen.
Yeah, right.
When she came on screen, I remember being like, Bridget Nielsen's still alive.
Yeah,
and she looks like that still. Fuck.
Yeah. She has like a few lines in there.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, because like they've essentially like abandoned him. Isn't it like because of the way that they reacted to the Creed stuff? Essentially, yeah. Like so, it's like
they kind of allude to it in Rocky 4.
Yeah.
They're like,
so it's like Ivan's almost like
straight to the gulag,
and he's
sort
like
of shit.
trying to find like redemption.
Yes,
which is like because it's odd. It's like you're trying to find redemption by putting your son against the son of the guy that you killed, and you want your son to like almost essentially like kill this.
But
guy.
he also like. You can tell early on that he's conditioned his son that way as well.
Yeah.
Because like, they work in the fucking cement factory all day
which
and
makes
then train all
which
night.
Makes that ending moment all the more like poignant.
Exactly.
Because he's like, I don't want to disappoint you, and it's got nothing to do with that.
Fucking tears in that bit as well. I cry so much in sport movies.
Do you like Creed or Creed 2? Which one do you like better?
Creed.
Okay, right.
But I still love Creed 2.
Yeah. I liked when I saw Creed and when I saw Creed 2 for the first time, I liked Creed 2 more.
I get that.
Yeah. And then rewatching them, I'm like, Creed, I was like, okay, I respect, but Creed 2, I was also just like, fuck, I have a lot of fun with this.
Oh, dude, I loved it. I love Creed 2. Like, I genuinely do. But Creed 2 has a new director as well, Stephen Cable Jr.
So like I think Creed is a better made film.
Yes.
Creed 2, I think,
is a very
entertaining.
Film. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like there's higher rewatchability for me with Creed 2.
No, I get that. I totally get that. Yeah. So Stephen Cable Jr. was the director of this, and it was also co-written by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
So Sylvester Stallone didn't actually write Creed 1, but he did take part in the script of Creed 2. Which works so well for the movie it's trying to be. But yeah, Donnie's a champion now. He's had 6 straight wins, and he fights Wheeler for the championship, becomes heavyweight champion. He proposes to Bianca in the hotel. It's so sweet.
It's so sweet.
He's so nervous,
and like because
him talking to Rocky about it
beforehand. But it's kind of funny. It's like the way you're saying before, like he is out, so she doesn't hear it.
So that's what I was going to bring up.
So she takes it out. And he doesn't know that she's taken it out.
So he's spilling his guts.
And she's just like, there's no reaction. And then she like turns around.
I think at one point she goes like, so what are we going to have for dinner? Yeah. And he's like, oh, you didn't hear any of that?
And then he like turns around. He's like on his knees, and then she
slams the door on him initially. It's great. But I mean, I love them so much. Yeah. So yeah, he's proposing. And then a few scenes later, we find out she's pregnant as well.
Prego my ego, which the mother is the one. She's like, "You're pregnant," and they're like, "No, we're not." And
because they were gonna reveal that they're fighting. I can't hold pens for the life of me. They're gonna fight the Drago, like Ivan Drago and his son are coming to America. They were gonna tell Apollo Creed's wife this was gonna happen.
Yes,
but she was like, oh, you're pregnant. She's like, no, I'm not pregnant. And she's like, yeah, you're pregnant. So that then they puts a massive fucking...
Then they take the test and they're like, oh, we are pregnant.
Which is sort of
all that raw dog has become something.
Hey, I mean... Don't be silly, wrap your willy. If you don't want kids.
Or if Michael B. Jordan wants it raw, you fucking take it. Hey.
What Donnie says goes. Yeah. They find out the Dragos are coming for an exhibition match. This like fucking sleazy ass promoter who's like guilting Donnie into the fight.
It's gross.
It's gross because he's the promoter who's kind of like, but it's on the side of the Dragos, but he's also like, don't you want fucking revenge for them killing your dad?
It's exactly who you think a promoter is going to be.
Totally.
You're only in this for yourself. Regardless of who you go with. It's
So. And then the biggest conflict. So obviously with the baby, they're kind of like, we want to take this fight. I want to do it, but obviously we're going to be there for the kid. But Rocky is like, no, like you shouldn't do this fight because you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I get that these people are involved with the death of your dad, and Rocky's even like, they hurt me, like not only by not murdering but like killing your father. But he's like, I got beat within an inch of my life. He's like, Rocky's like, I've got things that are inside me that have never recovered from that.
Yeah.
He's like, don't do this, Donnie.
In Creed, we learned that he's essentially got like brain
damage
from everything as well. So he's like, I'm living proof that
basically,
like,
he's just like, I've got irreversible damage because of what this man did.
I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, every day, I'm just like, I'm waking up and I'm like, okay, I'm alive again today. Yeah.
But that chip comes back. That anger inside is fueled, and he's like, this is the chance I have to finally avenge my dad.
And it doesn't help that you look at Victor and you're like, oh, I just want to beat you up.
No, and
but
again,
also Victor,
boxers playing.
He's a big
dude. Big fucking dude. But professional boxers playing actors in the film, like, he's fucking great. I'm just going to say Florian Munteanu.
Yeah.
Butchered that, probably. Apologies. But he's fucking great. He has a lot juicier of a role than Tony Bellew did because obviously he's the son of Ivan Drago.
Yeah. Also, we'll just say, in the same way that I think Stallone can kind of get shit, Dolph Lundgren he's fucking great in this movie. But he's the same sort of thing where his career, he's gone up and down with certain things because like I think people are just like, you're just like
you're Universal Soldier, you're
banger of a movie.
Fucking movie. Him and Jean-Claude. Fuck, that's a good movie. When he walks in with the fucking ear necklace. It's like the opening scene. But he's fucking brilliant because Van Damme. Lundgren's so good in this because he wants to be back in the high society of Russia so bad that it's fucked his relationship with his son.
And it's also like the reason why there's a lot of contempt with his wife because she's remarried she's in the high society side of things.
So it's fucked.
That dinner scene is a bit like,
and the dinner scene's rough when they give the son we want you to wear these and wear them proud.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, will you let us back in if we fucking it's so rough. But Lundgren does it well because he's a masculine guy.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. He's a fucking rough looking guy. But there is so much inner turmoil.
That's it.
That he is able to show outwardly without the big Oscar yelly scene. Yeah.
It's like there's like you look at him, you just go, there's so much vulnerability here.
But
much. You're like holding on.
These are Oscar performances.
But it's also
in my opinion.
But it just leans into the fact that it's like these are all masculine men in a very masculine driven sport.
Yep.
And yet they've all got they all just want to be like loved and accepted.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Come on, guys.
It's so good. So the fight gets scheduled. It's an exhibition fight. And long story short, Victor Drago beats the living fuck out of Adonis Creed.
Yeah. The fucking hits.
So because it's a brutal fight, and Donnie's quick. Learns early on. He's like, "Oh God, what have I gotten myself into?
I need a motherfucking montage."
This is not good.
Yeah,
and the fight ends in a disqualification because in boxing, when someone drops to their knees, they're not in the fight anymore, so you can't hit them. But Donnie gets punched in the ribs, shattered when his ribs get fucking shattered. Punched so hard, he falls to the ground. And the punch that comes from Victor, that's like a downward hook into the side of his head. And he just falls to the ground. And that shot where it's like only Donnie's in focus, but it's super close, but you can see everyone moving behind, rushing to him. I was like, that's like a dead shot. That's like you've killed this man shot.
Yeah.
And then, so disqualification, but Donnie's beaten within an inch of his life. And the shot of him in the hospital.
Yeah, he's just
broken.
Yeah.
Beaten, bloodied, bruised, and broken.
And he stays like that for a good portion of the rest of it because he's just he's literally just gone, why would I keep doing this to myself? Yeah. And then Sylvester, everybody is I guess trying to pump him back up essentially. And he's just
everyone except Bianca.
Yeah. She's
I'm never do that fucking again.
I'm okay with this because we've got a kid coming.
It's we're never putting you in that situation again.
And then obviously when they do have the child, there's an extra additive of more tragedy.
Yes,
because obviously her being deaf means, all right, we've got to check that the baby's deaf.
And then the baby is
deaf.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking, but it's a good scene. Like, it's a really well done.
Yeah.
And the acting between them is just like Tessa Thompson is a force, man. She is so fucking good.
There's a role out there for her where it will completely really showcase.
Yeah.
Like, like it's not like people don't know who she is. She's Valkyrie in the Thor movies.
Yes.
But
yeah. And she also did that Men in Black movie with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah. But I just feel like she's still, I think people still need to almost like catch up to her in some ways. Yeah.
I'm waiting for her to have her blow up moment.
Her big, like there is an Oscar moment.
She's an Oscar nominee
waiting to happen. 100%.
Yeah. Rocky watched the fight from his restaurant. He was like, I can't watch this kid get beaten up. And, so Donnie's in recovery. They have the kid. And then he's like, no, I need to fight this guy. Like, I need to get, and Rocky's like, I understand why. And I know I need to be the person. Like, if you're going to do it, I need to do it. Because Rocky was watching it and he's like, I don't want you to do this, but I saw what happened last time.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, man, Sly can give a speech.
Yeah.
He can give a fucking speech.
And I think it also helps that he had some, input into
the script, of course. As well. Because obviously the most iconic Rocky speech is in Rocky Balboa when he does those like, you're a baby, you fit in the palm of my hand and about how hard you can hit. Like, and he wrote that. So like he's written the speech for this as well and he's delivered it within an inch of its life and it's perfect. It's so good. And it gets Donnie back on track via one of the most fucking badass training montages in the desert.
Like out in the fucking desert.
Oh, dude. When they're just standing in the desert and they just hand in the sledgehammer and they're like, start digging.
Yeah.
And he's got to dig a hole with a fucking sledgehammer. Oh, and then like,
and also look, I'll just say
there's so much cool shit.
But I'll also just say this is where serious.
This is the third. This is the thirst scene. We should have a little thing down the bottom like thirst.
Michael B.
thirst
Jordan's physique in this movie is ridiculous. Then when you put him,
he's big, but ripped.
Then you put him in the desert sun,
glistening.
It's
God,
very, very sexy.
Oh my God, it is. I mean, I was watching. I was like, that's goals.
Yeah,
that's fucking goals.
And you're like, and you'd be like, and I'll never get there.
Oh God, no, because I don't just steroids.
But also he gets paid.
He gets paid millions of dollars to do that. So, but that scene's great.
It's a great. It's like across the board.
That song playing that amen.
It's like It's like the song, the 80s amazingness of like having a montage.
It's the montage, but it's also like. Because the simultaneous montage that's happening in like
with Victor,
the high performance gym.
But I love that it's just like the complete parallel of like he's out in the desert, like sun, like I guess he's got like support in some ways. Whereas this is just like you're in
Victor's in a dark dungeony room,
and it's just like just do it.
Those burpees he does with the battle ropes. And I love the shot with the medicine ball that he's throwing into the wall, and it goes like to the mirror, back to the it's shot like in fairness. I know we were like singing Ryan Coogler's praises. Stephen Cable Jr. visually, fuck, he directed the shit out of this movie. Like it was so good. But
it's like one of those ones where it's like it hurts your like it hurts your stomach. You're just like, I know that feeling.
I was tensing up the whole time. I know
that feeling of like when I used to be fit.
I
remember that feeling
of
like
those days.
You're like, oh right
there. You know the burn
of like,
and then like Victor and Ivan. So like Ivan's got the pads on, and Victor's like actually like he's angry. He's like because he's kind of embarrassed by his dad at this point.
But you almost think like because Dolph Lundgren is as
he's big. He's a big guy.
You almost just think if they were just like,
dude,
we're not going to soft punch this. Like almost just like, can you, Florian? It's okay just to hit Dolph.
I reckon Dolph did. He was just like,
just hit me. It's fine. Yeah.
Also, I know this is brought up in like random interviews and other podcasts before. Dolph Lundgren has a PhD in like nuclear physics or some shit.
Yeah.
Like he's a smart fucking dude.
Smart
just
guy.
As a random side note. But like Victor's part, because like Victor is embarrassed by him, especially after the dinner scene.
Yeah.
Where he's like cowering to be like.
It's so uncomfortable.
It's so well written.
And the fact that like Bridget Nielsen has very few lines.
Her only lines are in that scene.
But also she just has this
presence.
And she's got this look of like, I'm so disappointed in you.
Oh, yeah, it's rough.
It's like you just look at her and just go,
rough.
oh, I'm so like, you don't like, you don't
cringy.
It's like, you don't like me, do you?
No.
Like she's so just like, yeah.
Oh, God.
Which then makes during the fight when she just like leaves because she's like, well, you're not winning the way that I want you to. And she just leaves. And it's like that.
And the shot almost makes it look like Dolph's going to look back and be like, oh no, where'd they go? But he catches them leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
which
that's
is like,
even worse.
which is even worse.
It's even
yeah.
worse.
Cause it's like, I didn't like, I've actually like, I know like, it's not just like you've gotten up and left. It's the fact that I've caught you.
Yeah.
At a moment when you're like, this is when your son probably needs you the most to see that you're that you actually give a shit, but you don't. So,
but you don't because, it's all about for God and country in that place. But his training montage is mental. And then obviously in the desert when like, I love Rocky puts like the tire down, gets them to put one foot in there each, and they're just like punch the shit out of each other. And then he's got like the weights on his head and he's doing like strengthening his neck and shit.
Yeah, fuck.
And he's punching the tires and shit. But the running, again, the running. So as the montage is like leading up, he's like jogging behind the car and he's dying. And then he's there. That's all right. There's a bit where he's just down on the ground and he's hot and he's fucking dehydrated and he's panting within an inch of his life. And then he gets the fighting strong. Whenever the Rocky music comes, the Rocky theme, fighting strong, you just get so amped up. And he gets up, and then the next shot is him sprinting in front of the car as it's driving. And it is full pelt sprinting. And the way that it's this massive, helicopter tracking shot coming down. Oh, my God.
It makes you realize, yes, these actors are, them getting into shape for films, they're paid to do it, and
they've got chefs doing the nutrition. They're training twice a day.
So I get that a lot of people are like, well, anybody could, but you see a scene like that, and you realize it's still on the actor to do all of the work. You can eat.
You can't cheat your way
to that
without hard work. Yeah. You can have so much.
You can have
steroids. Performance enhancing drugs will help you get there, but you still have to do the work to do it. It just helps recovery.
That's the kind of scene where you just go, oh, you're beyond committed to this.
He looks even bigger in Creed 3.
Oh,
he looks even fucking bigger.
Very, very excited.
I love these movies, man. Yeah. Holy shit. So they do these
But you also think, just quickly, Michael B. Jordan looks big. Jonathan Majors is he's next level.
And boxing fit is different to muscle fit.
Yeah. And we've seen him. Well, I've seen him muscle fit in Magazine Dreams.
Well,
I've seen him in person in a suit, being like, "There's a lot going underneath."
Yeah, God damn.
So I'm very excited for what he's going to bring to Creed 3.
Man, I'm so fucking keen.
Especially with the obvious fact that you can tell that this is a series that means a lot to Michael B. Jordan.
Yes,
which makes me just go,
yeah.
he's going to treat this with a lot of respect. Yeah,
God, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So the training montages lead up to the fight. The fight that the terms and conditions of the rematch was it has to be in Russia.
Yeah.
So firstly, you're like, oh shit, the boys are going to travel. Home ground advantage to the Dragos. Again, the walkouts. Dragos is fine. Awesome song. Awesome heavy rap song. But Creed getting Bianca to sing. I love that bit. I think it's in this one. The light that comes around the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And then it trickles down, and then Bianca's there and she sings her. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's a performance of I don't know. It was just great. It was great. The walkouts are awesome, but then this fight is mental because not only is it brutal and powerful.
Oh, it's brutal.
But it's fast. These guys are punching the shit out of each other. There's no breathing room in this
and there's
fight.
not a lot of we're gonna, it's straight to it.
It's a slogfest. They are just slapping the shit out of each other.
And that's where you can just see there's obvious yes, there's a tiny bit of respect.
Yep.
But it's also just I fucking hate you.
Oh,
right now,
100%.
Now,
absolutely.
I hate you, and you're the thing that's stopping me from winning this. So
Both
and
of
they
them.
just
And they
it's
just
like they're
don't.
both in the same mind frame.
It's the I will die in this ring.
That's it.
If beating you means I have to die, then I will die.
Yeah.
And it's just
if I don't mind if I die as long as you die first.
Man. And they sell it. They both sell the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And they are bruised and beaten and bloodied and just ripped apart and broken. Donnie just keeps getting punched in the ribs there.
Because he's also like, I know that's your weak spot.
And he keeps going for it. But Donnie just doesn't give up. And in the later rounds of the fight, he starts winning. He starts beating the shit out of Victor and really giving him. And Victor's uncomfortable. He's like, I wasn't prepared for I didn't realize this was going to be the case. And obviously he's, Donnie is channeling a lot of his dad in that, and he's channeling a lot of Rocky does for him as well, and using that hate well. And I think that's what the movie does well, is that yes, it's kind of like a hate revenge reason why he doesn't, but it's about channeling that into.
But it's also showing that like, as much as you think you're driven by hate, ultimately that doesn't.
No,
matter.
because
like that only takes you so far.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because like you get driven by hate, you do all of that, but then eventually your swings
you're done. You finish.
You get messy.
So what do you do?
It's like, what do you do then? It's like you've got to be
love.
smart. Yeah,
he does it. He's doing it for Rocky, Bianca, and his kid, and his mum. So and then once Victor starts getting beaten,
and it's like Victor would like to do that for his dad and his mum.
He just doesn't. He
doesn't have it from his mum.
No,
and he thinks he doesn't have it from his dad.
No, he doesn't. But his dad's never really shown it to him, so that's why he's like, I don't have anything to fight for.
Yeah.
And that's when he starts getting beaten. That's when his mum and the Russian delegates leave the fight.
Yeah.
Which then leads to Ivan throwing in the towel. Throws the towel in,
and then like you can tell Victor's like, oh my God, you're gonna be gonna be so angry at me for doing this, and all he does is just hug him, and it's like
it's so fucking good, man. It is so that hug between Ivan and Victor,
because you can tell that. You can tell it's like
breaking my fucking heart.
It's like you can tell that they've probably never done that.
No, exactly. Yeah,
and it's like it's probably like all I've wanted from you is a hug from my dad, and he's probably like all I've wanted to do is like hug my son. But they both probably are like, oh, if I ask for a hug, I'm less of a man.
I'm less of a man for doing that.
I can't possibly be less of a man. I was like, because you're fucking Russian.
Because totally. You're a product. You're a product of your upbringing and your society. In a negative way.
You're literally the embodiment of
dude.
In some ways, like
my heart is broken.
But like
right?
I don't want this to be a thing of like Rush. But I was like, it's but they're like the embodiment of like toxic masculinity.
100%. But the movie's showing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously a thing in the real world too.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful moment. Him hugging through there. And obviously Donnie wins based on that technicality, Donnie wins the fight. And he embraces Bianca and his baby and mum and Rocky, and it's beautiful. Then I'm going to say this before we talk about the end of the movie. Creed 2 is the perfect ending to the Rocky saga. It is the perfect ending.
Yes, yeah.
That doesn't diminish my excitement for Creed 3.
No, I understand, yeah.
But Creed 2 is if
we didn't have Creed 3, this is
so because Rhiannon's a fan of these movies too.
Oh, nice.
So we went and saw Creed 2 opening day together. And I made sure for some reason she was finished work early, so we were the only two in the cinema. But it was like 2:00 on a Thursday.
Right, yeah.
And I remember, and because it's so funny, like I don't, and this isn't me being like a toxic myself, like I don't cry a lot in real life. It takes a lot for me to cry about something in real life. But for some reason, sport movies always make and so I was a blubbering mess.
Well, I know that Warrior is your.
Oh my God, I fucking pissed tears during Warrior. I'm a waterfall during that movie, but I was crying at the end of this movie too.
My friend Jason. Hey,
yeah, don't go Jason waterfalls. I was crying at the end of this, but I remember turning to Ren and I was like, if there's no more Rocky or Creed movies, I'm happy.
I'm okay
because this ending is perfect, and that ending is Creed. Donnie goes and visits his father's grave. And he's like, I did the fight and I feel good. Like I actually feel content. Like I didn't just do it for you. I did it for these people. And then he's like, I want to introduce you to Bianca and the baby. And it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful scene. Then they top that. Rocky walks up to a door, grabs tat, opens the door, and it's it's Milo
Ventimiglia. Yeah.
Who plays Robert, who is Rocky's son. So he's in Rocky Balboa, who was the recipient of the "Don't know you can get hit" speech. Yeah. But he opens the door, and because in Creed and Creed 2, it's alluded, he's like, Robert's moved away.
He talks about the fact that he hasn't really seen his
son.
He hasn't met his
grandchild. I can't remember if it was a son or daughter. It's a son. No, it's a son. It's a grandson. Hasn't met his grandson. And opens the door, and he's like, Dad? And it's in the classic Sylvester Stallone Rocky way. It's kind of like when he has to give a speech to someone, the most eloquent motherfucker you've ever heard.
Yeah.
When he has to talk about his own emotions, he's, and Sly plays that scene so well. To me, it's the not able to look him in the eye, looking around heaps, and he's like, oh, I was in the neighborhood. Yeah. And I wanted to come say hello. And Robert, and the thing is, like, you would expect Robert to be a bit apprehensive, but he's like, this is your grandson. He's like, he says to the boy, he's like, this is your granddad. And he's like, do you want to come inside? And the shot of him walking in, and then there's a pause, and then they hug.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Gone. I was, even now, I'm just like, oh, fuck, Rocky 2. And then it cuts to the credits.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect, because it's embodied exactly what Rocky's all about, which is fighting with love, not hate.
Yeah.
Which sounds really corny, but it's true.
It is. It's like fighting with love and then fighting for the people that you love. Yeah.
I fucking love these movies.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Creed 3.
Very excited.
I'm very excited for Creed 3. I purposely have, and I know I say this a lot and I tend to do it, I have not watched any trailers. I've seen, there was, YouTube just auto plays stuff, ads and shit. I've seen the first 5 seconds, and all I know is a minor thing about the relationship between Jonathan Majors, Damien, and Adonis Creed's characters.
Yeah, right.
I know how they're connected, and that's right. Literally it.
I was I was like, I guess in some ways, not forced to watch the trailer, but I had to watch the trailer.
Yes, no, that's fair.
For the interview.
For your interview with Michael B. Jordan.
But since then, I haven't watched the trailer.
I'm staying away from it because I'm sold.
So I'm still very kind of like...
I was thinking about this the other day. This is like a little random side. I get why people watch trailers. Trailers are there to market a movie.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, like, my reasoning is I'm going to watch the movies anyway. I'm in it. I work in an industry where I will watch the movie regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be sold on it. I would rather be surprised. But I totally understand the need for trailers. I'm not shitting on trailers. And I just don't watch them.
And there are some things that I watch.
Scream 6.
People that follow me know that all I have done is I think every single little thing that Scream 6 releases.
You're all
over it.
You're all over it.
At the same time, I still don't fucking know really anything about the movie, even though someone fucking spoiled it.
Yeah, they leaked the ending, so stay away from that.
So mute Scream 6.
Fuck the internet sometimes.
Fuck the internet. But there are some movies that
I don't
because I'm like
which is completely fair.
Yeah.
And Creed 3 is one of those movies for me. So when this comes out, we're seeing it like a couple of days, and then the movie basically releases a week from when this episode drops.
Yeah.
So on the next episode of Monthly Movie Marathon, we'll give you our quick little thoughts. But if you want to know our thoughts on Creed 3 before that, follow Nick's Flicks Fix on Instagram and Twitter. Go to NovaStream Network. I think I'm covering Creed 3 for NovaStream Network. So
let's hope so.
You'll see. Yeah, I think I am. I can't remember. Read my review, watch my 60-second review. It'll probably be super hyped up, and I'll probably be yelling a lot at the camera, which is great. It's pretty much what I do now. And for you, Pete, where would they find your reviews of Creed 3 and your chat with Michael B. Jordan?
On the AU review, the AUreview.com, or RadarPDG on Twitter and Instantgram.
That was good.
A little joke from the movie Missing.
Harvey the MVP.
Yes, I will be reviewing Creed 3, and I will probably re-up my interview with Michael B. Jordan, which happened last year for when the trailer dropped.
It did happen last year.
Late last year. Yes, because I went to Sydney for something. Because I remember having to write it in Sydney, but I don't know what I was there for. But I was there for something. Anyway,
look out for the reviews, and then we'll cover our thoughts briefly on the next episode.
But also, what else are we going to be talking about on the next episode?
Well,
we go from one behemoth of a man to
another behemoth of a man. Now, you lucky people, audio listeners.
Oh, you lucky people.
You lucky people. You lucky listeners on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you follow, leave a review and a rating there. And you lucky watchers on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, and a comment down below.
Subscribe, we very much appreciate it.
We very much appreciate all of you, all your watching and listening. But you lucky people are getting 2 episodes in March.
I say what?
Boom! In a couple of weeks, because I think this is just a franchise that's too big to pass up an opportunity to discuss. And also, I know I will be rewatching John Wick Chapter 2 and John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum in the lead up to John Wick Chapter 4, the 2 hour and 49 minute long John Wick Chapter 4. That will be the next episode dropping in late March.
Because as much as I have been talking about Scream and Scream 6, which also drops in March, we did Scream last year.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, so
I'm going to be rewatching all 5 movies in the lead up anyway.
I think I'm going to rewatch because they're pretty fresh in my mind.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, watch Scream 4.
Scream 4, Scream 5.
Okay, I'll watch Scream 4 and 5.
Those are the 2 that you definitely need to
Okay, I'll rewatch Scream 4 and 5.
Yes, but we thought
we've covered it. We've done it.
I don't need to go on a whole
not to put too much out there as well, but there may be a way to listen to our thoughts about Scream that is potentially coming up in the future.
If it happens. We're hoping so. But hey, that's for now.
That's just a little tease, a little tickle, a little tease.
Now we're going to be talking about the John
Wick
trilogy.
Which I'm pumped for. I think they're fantastic action movies. They're a lot of fun.
Although I do know that the running time of John Wick 4 has made you a little bit
cautious.
Let me say, when I told Nick how long it runs for, I
had a visceral reaction.
He was just like, "Oh no, I don't want to watch it." Like it was just like, "Wow, I think
what I said," and you know, this was an emotional reaction.
Yeah, it was like you were like, "It is now no longer my most anticipated film." And he's like,
I said it like such a fuckwit,
and I was just like, "Oh wow."
That's not necessarily true.
It's not.
And we'll break it down a little bit more.
Instant reaction because
lately
we weren't expecting a 170-minute movie.
No, and lately my biggest criticism of a lot of movies is that they've been too long for no reason.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of directors out there at the moment who are getting a little bit too much leeway and making their movies longer than 2 and a bit hours.
Is their names rhymes with Schmame Schmamron?
Schmame Schmamron, Schmeev Schmiel Schmerg, Schmod Schmield.
I was like, who? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's just... And you know what? In fairness, the one that I didn't give shit for was Babylon. I was like, I loved all 3 hours of Babylon. Shmamey and Shmashmel. No, I just... And it's not that I think Avatar, Fabelmans, and Tar are bad movies.
No.
I just think they could have been trimmed a fair bit.
Yeah.
But in fairness, there's also movies that have been like an hour 45, an hour 50. Skinnamarink, another one. I thought that was a great 70 to 80 minute movie. But that could have been
condensed as well.
70, 80 minute movie that was 100 minutes long. So I just think lately there's just a bit too much.
But then the other funny thing is that we see this this whole conversation about movies being too long, but then you look at it and just go, look at the running time for the top 4 highest grossing films.
I know, they're all
over 3 hours.
And actually, I just watched Titanic in cinema again and loved all 3 hours. I was on board for all 3. So I don't hate 3 hour movies if it's justified in having its length.
So
totally,
John Wick 4 might be justified. We don't know.
And not the rumor, but the talk is that there was going to be a John Wick 5 and that they've potentially melded the 2 stories together for one big finale.
Which would make sense.
And because it's a big world that they're making.
Because John Wick 5 still hasn't really been confirmed. So we'll see.
And because they had to push John Wick 4 back because of the pandemic as well.
Because we were meant to get John Wick 4
2021.
Yeah.
2022.
Was it 2022?
No, it was 2021, and they pushed it back initially, and then they pushed it back again because of Matrix Resurrection.
That's right. It was Matrix and John Wick were meant to open together.
They're the same day.
Because it was going to be like a Keanu
Fest.
And now, the only thing that we know post John Wick is that we're getting the ballerina
with Ana de Armas,
who has said this. She said this. She wants this to be her last action movie.
And apparently, as well, there is still talks of the TV series The Continental
Yeah.
in the works with Ian McShane. But we can cover all that on the next episode.
And there's talk that
yeah.
John Wick is going to be in the Ballerina.
That can be pretty fucking cool. Regardless, I'm still excited for John Wick 4, and I'm even more excited to rewatch because I haven't seen John Wick 3 since the cinemas.
Same. So I rewatched 1 and 2 in the lead up to 3, but I haven't watched
them since
which
is 2019. So it's almost 4 years ago.
Fuck. All right. Because I'm very
for a
interested.
rewatch.
I'm very interested to see the uncut version of John Wick 3.
Oh, yes. Because
in the cinemas, MA, still very, very violent, but there was that one scene that we think was cut.
And we will report back to you.
On 4K, it is rated R.
It is uncut, apparently.
It's uncut, so let's see if there's
uncut jams.
If there's a scene with an eye.
Getting stabbed.
But
that will be coming mid to late March. I can't remember the date exactly, so just keep an eye out for that. You will see it on our socials, at NixFlixFix, at RaterPDG. Again, thank you everyone for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you enjoy future episodes. Nice big back catalogue now. We've got 20 plus episodes there for you to listen to. And
does that say dragging hole?
Digging hole.
Digging hole.
Digging hole with sledgehammer.
Cool.
And on that note, bye!